Hey there, Ken So Sorry again. I just finished up the video of wiring the back of our paintings that were gallery wrap, and I mentioned about putting it on the frame. The other video was 20 minutes long, so I figured I'd end it and start here. So here, these are the D-rings. Right, we went over what the D-rings were and stuff, and I've got an assortment of screws, and I of course have chosen the screw according to how thick my my frame is. And generally, I'm going to want just to imagine that I'm coming through this piece of the frame. And all I really need is the tiniest little screw, because these are number 4/4 inches. And the only thing that's going to be holding that screw and the wire and hanging the work in the air is that little bit of screw hanging out the back. Okay, so all those threads, the spiral things, are called threads, and they are going to hold the screw into the wood. All right, I don't need a whole lot if I'm doing it properly, because when I fix this D-ring to the edge of my canvas, the wire is pulling this way, okay, at a 90-degree angle to those threads. So as it's pulling it, it's not going to have an easy time pulling it out. Now, if I were to use these on my gallery wrap frames, they would go in this way, and the wire would want to pull this way, at which point I'm pulling out. I'm pulling the screw out instead of sideways. Here, the screw is going to be pulled sideways. Don't need a whole lot in there, but when it's pulling this way, it's got the opportunity to pull straight out. So I wouldn't use the D-rings on the gallery wrap, but here on the regular frames, I do the same thing as I did with the gallery wrap as far as measuring the frame. All right, I just got this frame out of one of the art stores, and I know that I'm gonna hang something landscape, not portrait. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure down. And like I said, you can use any measuring device, and I always use this screwdriver. It always seems to work out well for me. And I'm going to measure the top third. Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, a little bit long. So I'm going to want my D-ring or my wire to attach up in this section, this first third of the frame. All right, so about a third down. I'm just going to go ahead and mark this with this old screwdriver that I use for everything, and a little tack hammer. And that's just marking it. You can see I've marked it. There's this star or X that comes in here. All right, and I know it's right here, so I can measure with my finger on the shaft of the Phillips screwdriver and measure down the exact same distance. Same deal. Myself a little X here, okay? And this is not a toy, is what it says. That's funny. I think that's funny. So then, once I've got my spots marked with a little indent so that my screw will actually try to go in there, what I've done is I've put the screw and the D-hook together before I've started to screw it down. Now, some of these frames, like I said in the other video, are oak and very, very hard, and you'll want to pre-drill, and that gets complicated because you don't want to drill out too much to eliminate the threads grabbing the wood and this type of thing. But when they're softer wood, you're basically crushing the wood around these threads so that it's not going to come out. And when it's really hard wood, you would drill that out and you'd see like the little teeny tiny bit of thread. So if I'm drilling it out, I'm going to want to use a thicker thread, a heavier thread, so that it doesn't want to pull out. But it's tough to get with this little teeny tiny length of a screw. Anyhow, getting back to it, what I've done, I've got a good decent screwdriver with a decent tip on it, whereas my other screwdriver just isn't going to do it. So I don't want my screws to slip. Go ahead and line that sucker up, get it right on there, right to begin with. And I'm going to hold it with the D-ring as a little handle through the hole as I just start my screw in with a little bit of pressure. Or a lot of pressure. Some of these frames are also plastic, so it might be a little more difficult to screw them in. I'll hold this one down with my knee on one corner while I screw it in with the other. And get that guy in there. And see, it's still moving a little bit. If you clamp it down where it's not moving, you want to at least get it over towards pointing towards the middle where the wires are going to go. And again, same thing to the other side. Use the D hook as a handle. Get it on where I put my X, where I measured before. Take my screwdriver, back in the X. Hold them down one side so it's not going to flip up on me. And I'm just going to screw it in, and you'll see you're close. The D-ring will start to turn on you, and you'll have to scoot your D-ring back. You don't really want to get to a point where you're backing it out, but so that's that. And the D-rings are on here, and I can come back at any time and put my wire if I'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I have the painting in, and then I'm going to put the wire on. But that's just getting your D-rings on there. Hope that helps. See you next time.